It was just a regular evening when I realized my father hadn't come back from his usual late-night walk with our dog, Bella. At 10 p.m. on August 7th, 2018, my dad, Thomas Perez Sr., took Bella out, and as the hours ticked by, my concern grew into alarm. By early morning, fear had replaced all hope, and I decided to call the Fontana Police Department to report him missing. I thought they'd help me find my dad. I had no idea my call for help would turn into a nightmare. My hands were trembling as I dialed 911. The dispatcher's calm voice did little to steady my nerves. Fontana Police Department, what's your emergency? My dad, he hasn't come back from walking the dog. It's been hours, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He usually comes back in 30 minutes. I'm really worried. Can you describe your father for me? The dispatcher asked. I rattled off his description, ending with, he's with our dog, Bella, a brown and white terrier mix. Please, you have to help me find him. The police arrived quickly, but their presence only heightened my anxiety. They asked me all sorts of questions. When I last saw him, if he had any enemies, and whether he'd been acting strangely. I told them everything I knew, but I could see their suspicion growing. They asked me to come down to the station to answer a few more questions. I agreed, thinking it would help. But once I was there, the tone changed. They put me in a small, cold room and began their relentless questioning. Thomas, we have reason to believe something happened to your father, one of the detectives said. His eyes were sharp, and his voice was devoid of empathy. We need you to tell us the truth. I am telling the truth, I insisted. I don't know where he is. I'm just as worried as you are. Hours went by, but their questions never stopped. They kept pushing, prodding, and suggesting that I knew more than I was saying. They even brought in Bella. When I saw her, my heart broke. Look at your dog, Thomas, an investigator said, his voice dripping with accusation. She knows what you did. She saw you kill your father. I was stunned. What? No, I didn't kill anyone. My dad's missing. Why are you saying this? Your dog was walking through all the blood. She's depressed because of what she witnessed, the detective continued. We might have to put her down. My mind was spinning. The room felt like it was closing in on me. Bella whimpered softly, and I reached out to her. Please, don't hurt my dog. I didn't do anything. The detectives didn't relent. Your brain can suppress memories, Thomas. Maybe you don't remember doing it, but you did. We found your father's body, stabbed to death. I was shaking uncontrollably. I loved my dad. We argued sometimes, like any family, but I'd never hurt him. Yet their words were so convincing. I started doubting myself. What if they were right? What if I had done something terrible and just couldn't remember? After 17 hours of this psychological torture, I was a wreck. They left me alone with Bella for a while. I lay on the floor beside her, my mind a jumble of confusion and despair. When they came back, I couldn't take it anymore. I did it, I whispered, tears streaming down my face. I killed my dad. We fought, and I stabbed him with scissors after he hit me with a beer bottle. As soon as the words left my mouth, I felt a crushing weight lift off me, only to be replaced by a deeper despair. What had I done? How could I have said that? They left me alone again after my confession. The room felt colder, the silence more oppressive. Desperate and hopeless, I looked at the drawstring from my shorts. In my broken state, I saw it as my only escape. I tied it around my neck and tried to end my suffering. But they found me in time. The next thing I knew, I was in a mental hospital on a 72-hour hold. I was too numb to feel relief or fear. All I wanted was for the nightmare to end. While I was in the hospital, something unbelievable happened. My sister called the police to tell them our dad was alive and with a lady friend. I was still locked away, tormented by my false confession, while my father was completely fine. The police didn't tell me right away. Instead, they came back to our house with a new warrant, searching for evidence of an assault on an unknown victim. They didn't want to admit they'd been wrong. It wasn't until I was released from the hospital that I learned the truth. My father was alive. Bella was safe. But the damage was done. The mental scars from those 17 hours of interrogation would never fully heal. I found Bella at the county animal control, tracked down through her implanted chip. Holding her again brought a sliver of comfort, but the anger and betrayal I felt towards the police were overwhelming. My attorney, Jerry Steering, filed a civil suit against the city of Fontana. The story made national news, and after a grueling legal battle, I agreed to a settlement of $898,000. It wasn't about the money, though. It was about justice and making sure no one else would have to go through what I did. As I look back on that terrible time, I'm struck by how quickly things spiraled out of control. The police thought I was guilty because I seemed distracted and unconcerned when I called 911. Our house was messy because of renovations, not a struggle. The bloodstains were from my dad's diabetes tests, not a murder scene. The detectives had reasonable cause to believe something was wrong, but their tactics were inexcusable. They deprived me of my medications, kept me sleep deprived, and used my love for Bella against me. It was psychological torture, plain and simple. One of the officers involved in my interrogation has retired. The others are still with the Fontana Police Department. They didn't respond to requests for comment, and I doubt they ever will. I've tried to rebuild my life since then, but it hasn't been easy. The memories of that night haunt me, and trust in law enforcement is something I struggle with every day. But I'm determined to keep moving forward. I owe it to myself, to my dad, and to Bella. This story isn't just about what happened to me. It's about the flaws in our justice system and the need for change. It's about making sure that no one else is ever put through the kind of ordeal I endured. And it's about the importance of standing up for what's right, even when the odds are against you. My experience serves as a cautionary tale. It shows how easily an innocent person can be coerced into confessing to a crime they didn't commit. It highlights the importance of proper interrogation techniques and the need for oversight and accountability in law enforcement. As I continue to heal, I hope my story will inspire others to fight for justice and to never give up, no matter how dark the situation may seem. Because in the end, truth and justice must prevail. If there's one thing I've learned from all this, it's that the human spirit is incredibly resilient. I was pushed to my breaking point, but I survived. And now, I'm sharing my story in the hopes that it will bring about positive change. To anyone out there who's going through a tough time, remember, you're stronger than you think. Don't give up. Fight for the truth, and never let anyone take away your hope.